So oftentimes I get asked, like, what are the skills that I should learn in order to live abroad or be more flexible in regards to where I live as far as my location? Now, unfortunately, we have this one-way relationship where you get to hear me run my mouth, but I don't know anything about you. So I can't say what type of skills would be important for someone I don't know, but I can just tell you what the skills that I've developed so that maybe that can give you a little bit more insight. So if you haven't met me before, hey there, I'm Cinnamon, U.S. immigrant from Washington, D.C. that moved to Lisbon, Portugal about 6 years ago. So when I first moved, I was in digital marketing. But listen, large language models came into the thing and chat GTPs and basically destroyed my industry. And so a lot of people are experiencing that if you were a writer or you did translation, whatever, that now that demand has dropped significantly. Lead generation or digital marketing hasn't really dropped, but it's changing drastically, so much so that I had to go learn some new skills. Now, I had already moved to Portugal, and when large language models had came out, maybe about 3, maybe 4 years now, I knew I had to learn everything I possibly can because I saw it affect my industry in real time. So many of the skills I'm going to talk to you today were not skills I always had. I just had to go learn them. I had to take the time. I had to schedule time out of my schedule to learn this stuff so that I knew that I could have a skill that I could potentially sell services or products to later. That was critical. I saw the writing on the wall. The freelancing skill I already had. I already knew how to do digital marketing. I already knew how to get customers, clients from online means, whether that be articles or content, SEO. Like I already knew how to do that. I was doing that for my company for years. So I left with that skill. So that was a skill I already had. 2, any skill you have that you know how to do, the most easiest thing to transition to is consulting. Consulting is very easy. Now, it's not scalable that much, but it's very easy. You just need a scheduling software and you need people to know what you're consulting on. You just saying that you're a life coach or you do this or that is not enough. You need to show content that shows that you can create these transformations that you're saying you can create. So when I'm showing I can do digital marketing, I'm going to show what the client was before they were working with me and then what they are now. If you're a life coach, you need testimonials to show this is what it looks like when a client was working with me and this is their transformation. It's really important to show transformation, especially for consulting, because people are going to pay you for the transformation. So you have to show that you have the transformation. So if you have a service business like that and you're not getting enough customers to live off, then that means you don't have enough content showing that you give the transformation you're saying you give. So focus on creating that content. Now, the third skill was an absolute accident. So maybe 2 years in, we had the global shutdown, right? And so all of these companies that needed face-to-face interaction or were used to being on site, everyone was in the house. And so that left a lot of companies having to try to find alternative ways to whether it be sell to a client or broadcast their message. And so I took the time to learn streaming software. So you can stream on YouTube, which wasn't new. And then they had Restream and I forgot the company I was using initially. And then I saw that everybody's stream was looking the same. So it was important to me to go take 20 to 25 hours and learn another streaming software. And I did that. I did it for Driven Spice. Many of you knew we did like a bunch of different virtual events when we were locked down. But I was able to take that skill and give it to other corporations that also needed to still deliver their service to clients, or they still need to do sales presentation to close deals, but they couldn't meet with the client. So the same streaming skill I learned, I put that in Zoom and made this whole production-like experience so that people could either sell their product or service to their prospects, or they can conduct their training in a way that didn't just look like Zoom. Now, I tested it out. A lot of y'all Driven Spice, I was testing it. Like y'all experienced it. You've seen many of the events. That was sold to corporations. That skill that I picked up randomly was sold to corporations. I still have contracts with companies where I still do virtual broadcasting for them. Now, it's not something I advertise saying I'm doing. I just the client liked me. I liked working with them. We still work together. But ever since, things have opened up, the need hasn't necessarily been there for the corporations like it was, but I still know the skill and I still use this skill with a client. So being able to do live streams, but not make them look like everybody's live stream, make it look like an experience. And you're going to have to do a little bit more studying than everybody else who's just doing it the easy way. And that's an important distinction for everything. You are going to have to learn to do the harder things than everybody else because it's less competition in the harder things, because most people are not going to take the time to learn it. So even if there's a software you love, you can learn it better than everybody. Create content on YouTube, naming the software so that you start to get associated with the software's name and do extraordinary things with that software. You will start to build a base of people who use the software or they want to learn how to do these dynamic things you're doing, which that can turn into some type of e-course or consulting or what have you. Or you'll find corporations or people who work and have hiring decisions in the corporations and they'll want to bring you onto your company. Here, fun fact, that doesn't happen if you don't put your stuff out there. It does not. I know you don't have to show your face, but you have to show people that you know what you're doing, especially in this day and age. Things are going to get really, 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 really tough and competitive. And if people got to search through the weeds to find you, you have to be available and you have to show up where you're supposed to show up and with the keywords you're supposed to show up on. If you don't hear anything else I'm saying. Now, these last 3 skills that I developed was a sole result of me watching my industry get destroyed with large language models. I already knew how to do automation using like low code tools and that type of thing, but I didn't know coding. I didn't know Python. So when I saw everything that was going on with large language models, I remember going to ChatGPT and I was like, I do digital marketing and I have no idea what these large language models, how am I supposed to survive in this market? Do you know ChatGPT gave me a plan? And to the most part, I kind of followed it. But I knew I had to learn everything I can because all I keep hearing about is these corporations keep saying this. They keep saying AI, AI, AI. And to keep having companies say that and not learn a little bit about it is like, listen, the writing's on the wall. If you don't want to learn anything about it, it's going to be a relatively unsafe space for you, full disclosure. So I knew something about automation. So now I added the AI component. Luckily, my partner was down for the cause as well, because it's better when you're trying to learn this stuff with someone. I mean, you can nerd out on your own, but when someone else and you can kind of ask each other questions, it's a lot easier to learn. I had to learn Python. Yucky. It was gross. It was gross. It still is gross to me. I couldn't. It was hard. It was hard. And I still don't feel confident saying, oh, like I know Python, like I can get some stuff done. So I was able to take Python, create some no code tools. And so initially I started implementing no code solutions for my friends that had businesses. Now, I wasn't going to charge full price for something and I didn't have the experience. So I went to all my friends and I said, listen, I can do this for your business. I won't charge you anything. Just let me test it out. And a lot of my friends let me test it out. So I was able to learn and implement and do before going out in the market and say I have the skill that I could potentially mess up on. That's important. If you are learning a new skill, please test it out with people that you love and know so you won't be out here messing up your reputation on this new skill that you ain't even tried yet. So I created automations for my friends who are business owners that work well. And then I could start using them as case studies when I'm pitching to corporations. So that was AI automation. Then I started creating hardwired AI tools that I would build. So many of you know, and I built them to solve my problem. So I told you guys about the LinkedIn post generator that I created. I basically took all my knowledge base of my methodologies, my case studies. I created a knowledge base from that, connected AI with it, and then it, produces my LinkedIn post, which helped me market my business. And I've created a bunch of other tools that I sell to clients, and that has been helpful. So in addition to creating services for them, I have tools to get paid monthly every month off of those tools. And the last freelance skill that I learned was AI video generation. So this is helpful for companies who are doing internal training and they don't want to deal with the production bottlenecks or have the budget to hire actors or production company. I saw AI video generation and I was very intrigued. And so I spent a lot of hours learning the various softwares, the various APIs, how to build it, and again, tested it out with friends. And then I started selling it as a service. So those were the kind of like freelancing contracting skills that I personally started. The most important thing from this conversation is that a good 50% of them I didn't know how to do 5 years ago. So I want to encourage you that it is never too late to learn a new skill. And if you don't have the skills, most of the stuff that the 50% of stuff that I didn't know how to do, that came from YouTube. I learned how to do it on YouTube. YouTube has given me more money than any university I have ever attended. So if you don't know how to do it, you have too many resources now between AI, YouTube, Google. You have too many free resources to learn how to get really good at something that's important to you. So if there's anything else that you hear today, like just go learn a new skill, level up, please do it. Please do it. Because again, things are going to get really interesting and you want to be able to have the skills to make sure that you can make the decisions you want to make for you and your family. So I hope that's helpful. Till next time.